Hello and welcome to TheMan Games. This is another episode of Fun with Figures. Today is a bit of a different episode. We're going to be looking at the 5 worst figures of Sting. So, like I said probably a million times on the show, Sting is my all-time favourite wrestler. Got the new Sting AEW t-shirt on today for this special episode. Unfortunately, I don't have the figures with me, but we're going to be putting them on the screen and we're going to be talking about them and just seeing how bad they are. But before we get into that, if this is your first time watching TheMan Games, please subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying what you're watching, and also like this video if you are enjoying it as well. Leave a comment, let us know what you think. If there's any I've missed out, please let me know in the comments as well, and make sure your notifications turned on so you know when the next Fun with Figures goes up on the channel. So, number 5. So I chose this one at number 5. So it is a TNA figure. Across the lines, you get an RVD in the pack. I just think if you're gonna make a figure with Sting with a t-shirt on, this is just terrible. Like a black t-shirt, I think there's like meant to be a scorpion on the chest there. Obviously, there's not really a lot of detail going into the trousers because there's a t-shirt on it as well. I think the RVD in the double pack is really good. The Sting facial features are good. It's just, I don't know why would you put a t-shirt on this figure? Yeah, he might have wrestled in a t-shirt, but we all know that is crap as well. Sorry, Sting, as much as I love you, but wrestling in a t-shirt is just not a good look. So why would you want to buy a figure with the same look? I just think it's terrible. But the cross the line range of TNA figures, there was some really good ones as well. There was really good Kurt Angle, Mr. Anderson, the Motor City Machine Guns, Bear Money, Team 3D. In this range of figures, there was some really good ones, and this Sting is probably one of the worst ones in the range. Maybe there's a Stevie Richards and Daphne as well. What an awesome pack of figures there. Where I think the worst one in the range is probably the Samoa Joe, just because Samoa Joe had a terrible look at the time. But yeah, this Sting is number 5 on the list, pretty much just because I don't think there's a lot of thought put into this figure. There's not a lot of detail. What makes this Sting figure special enough for someone to buy it? Nothing. So that is why this Sting figure is number 5 on my list. So number 4 is a Sting figure in the range of the Bash of the Beach figures. So in this range, I think it was meant to be a set that you play with in the bath, to be honest. So in this range also, I think there was a Bret Hart, Lex Luger, Goldberg, DDP, and obviously this Sting. And they're the ones I can just think off the top of my head. The Bret Hart in this range was really good, but the other ones were not good at all, to be honest. This Sting figure, looking at it now, white gloves, never seen him wrestling in white gloves. This attire, never seen him wrestling in this attire. But same with the Goldberg and the Lex Luger in this range, even the DDP. I've never seen any of these wrestlers wrestle in that attire, so why make figures with them looking like that? It just makes no sense. Why would you want to buy figures when they don't look like what you're seeing on the TV? It just makes no sense at all. You get some like water pistols with them or something, it's absolutely, it's pretty crap, to be honest. And then you can see the playset on screen now, so you could get a ring with this set of figures as well. And the figures on the box of this Bash at the Beach ring set aren't even the figures that are in the range. They're the Bruiserweight. They're the Bruiser line of figures that we're going to talk about in a moment, to be honest. So yeah, you're not even promoting the Bash of the Beach figures with the Bash on the Beach ring. I mean, what were they thinking? It just makes no sense. So yeah, number 4 on the list, this Sting in the Bash of the Beach range. And now at number 3, like we were just talking about the Bruisers line of figures, this is number 3 on my list. I remember seeing this figure as a kid, hating it. Once again, never seen Sting wrestle with anything like this before. The silver chest things and then the knee pads, they just look crap. You get a silver baseball bat, never seen him use one of them neither. I didn't realise this as a kid that the accessory with it is meant to be the thing to lower Sting into the ring. But it's not very tall, to be honest, so that's pretty rats as well, to be fair. But the Bruiser line, we've seen some of these figures on the channel as well. There is some good ones in this line of figures, but this Sting figure is probably the worst of them all, in my opinion. I can't even tell you one good quality about it, to be honest. I mean, suppose they got the face paint right. If you want to, that might be the one good thing about this figure, but yeah, it's just terrible in my opinion. So now number 2, and to be honest, I thought this was going to be number 1, but researching it, I come across a figure that I'd actually forgotten. I wish I'd forgotten it existed. That is what's number 1, so we'll talk about that in a few moments. But so WWE brought out this Mutants lines of figures. So this is meant to be Sting crossed as a Scorpion as well. It's just awful. And like maybe 5 minutes before I started doing this video, I was on Amazon and trying to see how much this figure was even selling for, and it's out of stock. Who the hell is buying this crap? I mean, what are you meant to do with it? You can't wrestle with it. It's just, yeah. So it's Sting and a Scorpion mixed together. I mean, I suppose it sounds like a good idea, but it really isn't a good figure at all. The face paint isn't even like Sting has his face paint. Yeah, this is definitely a figure I can't even tell you one good thing about. So I think we'll leave that at number 2 and we'll move on to number 1. So this is number 1, the Sting Grows Out Wrestler. So what do we say about this? It is absolutely dreadful. So the face paint pops off to see a black face. What's all that about? The attire's nothing like what Sting wears. The baseball bat's just stupid. This is just absolutely terrible. I mean, I'm not sure which other figures were in this range, and I remember seeing this as a kid and thinking, this is awful. Why would anyone want to buy this crap? Like WCW, obviously I get that WCW probably weren't actually making these figures. It's a toy company that has made these figures. But the Sting Wolfpack figure is a great figure, and the Sting in the Slam and Crush range, I believe it's called. That's a really good Sting at all. I've got both figures sat there on my shelf now. That's how good they are. But these figures here that we've looked at today are just awful. And I know some of them, we've seen a WWE figure of Sting, a TNA figure of Sting, and then the other ones has been WCW figures of Sting. But I just don't know why anyone would want to buy them. They're just absolutely terrible. This gross out wrestler figure is just a stupid idea. I don't understand why. Same with the Mutants figure we've just seen. Why do you want to buy a wrestling figure that you can't actually play wrestling with? It's just beyond me. So if you can think of any good things about this figure, just seeing it on the screen, and let me know what you think. But in my opinion, this is the worst Sting figure I've ever seen. Obviously, I'm not seeing them all, but this has got to be the worst Sting figure that I've come across. I wouldn't spend any money on it unless I had to do it for this show, to show you guys it, actually in front of me, to see how bad they are, maybe like movement wise and joint wise, and have a better look at the facial features. But other than that, I wouldn't spend a penny on these otherwise. So there we have it. That was the 5 worst figures of Sting. What did you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you know any different ones that I have missed? Let me know in the comments. Like this video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching TheMan Games. Also, check out the other Fun with Figures as well. So that has been all from this week's episode of Fun with Figures. We'll see you next week for another episode.